I guess Marguerite says, Mike, you should write your book as well. So here's a lady who travelled, I love this, she travelled by double-decker bus from Kathmandu to London overland, at one time having to let the tyres down on a bus to get through an overhead bridge. She's been on the sacred ground of the Lahore cricket ground. She was caught up in Tehran during the period when the Shah of Iran was exiled to the USA, and if she fancies a swim, she's actually swum in the Dead Sea in Israel. Is there anywhere that you have... Oh, you've done that twice, have you? Anywhere you haven't been? No, you can talk to me now.
Oh,
yeah, it's fine. We're on. Yeah. This is us. This is you and I talking.
Good morning.
We're on the radio now. That's what we do.
That beautiful accent. I love that accent.
Oh, bless your cotton socks.
It's got to be London, hasn't it?
No, we're close. But anyway, more about you. Enough about me right now. Marguerite, I've actually described you as an adventurer because, you know, not many people, and this is what I've discovered since coming to Australia, not many people travel outside Australia. You have been all over the place. Tell us about the trip to Kathmandu to London.
Okay, I was about 28 years old in 1978, and one of my friends from New Zealand said, let's go to London overland. So we set this up, and I think if I remember, it cost about $700 or $800 for 3 months, but it worked into be about 3.5 to 4 months because we were caught up in Tehran.
Which is not, I would think, not the ideal holiday destination.
No. I remember being in the Australian Embassy. We were told to stay indoors, but me being a sticky beak, I've had to go upstairs and have a look. The whole of Tehran was on fire.
Wow.
And we slept in the embassy, and the next morning had to walk out 2 by 2, just like...
the animals going in Noah's Ark, I'm guessing.
Noah's Ark.
That must have been very frightening, though.
I think I was too young to be scared. If I did it now I'd be scared.
Isn't it funny? Yeah. You do things when you don't even think about it. You don't think twice about it. Then you look back and you go, what? Was I absolutely crazy to do that?
Oh, my gosh. And I'm presently putting a lot of my slides, it's like, talk about slides, onto a disc or a stick. And one of my friends who's been helping me, and she saw this picture of myself way up in Kathmandu, up in the hills, with 2 little local boys. We're crouched down. I meant to bring it in to show you. And crouched down. So she wanted a copy of this, so I emailed that to her, and she turned up on Christmas Eve with this beautiful, big canvas print of myself sitting on top of the world.
Oh, that is amazing.
Often on top of the world.
Indeed. I mean, to say travel broadens the mind, it really does. And I think, I mean, we've been very fortunate over the years. We've travelled extensively throughout Europe, Africa, Middle East, Asia Pacific, and we've seen probably more places than most Australians have seen. But people are a little bit reluctant these days just to, and I guess because of the era that we live in now, with what happens with planes and travel, I think people are maybe a little bit more frightened to travel than they used to be.
Well, I think also the media. We didn't have the media that we've got now.
Sure.
So we're knowing more, and we've got the internet, of course, the media. We've got all the phones. We've got, I remember, travelling. I went to London back in when I was a lot younger, and I didn't want to spend another winter in cold, miserable England.
Why do you think I'm here?
So I signed up as a volunteer the next year, and off to Israel I go. This is fantastic. Warm sun, la, la, la.
And what year was this?
This was in 1975.
Okay, so the Suez Crisis had pretty well passed by then. The 67 war was over and done with. But what was the atmosphere like in Israel then? I mean, it's always been a place of conflict, unfortunately.
I didn't notice anything. And I spent several months there as a volunteer, and we were shipped up to the north, and I thought, oh, this is going to be nice, lovely and warm. The following week we were snowed in. This is January. I did not know it snowed in Israel.
I don't think many people did until right now, to be honest.
And now with the passion that I have for Israel, I've been back several times, and I'm going back again in June. And I'll probably go down and swim in the Dead Sea.
That must be, and for people that don't know, because of the amount of salt in there, you just float, don't you?
Yes. But one little tip there, you don't shave your legs, girls, before you go in, and the boys don't shave your faces because it stings like heavens.
Wow, I guess it would with all the salt.
Yes, yeah, but it's now receding. The Dead Sea is receding, so they're going to have to pump some more water in. I don't know where that will come from, but maybe from the River Jordan.
Interesting. Marguerite, we're going to talk to you after we're going to just take a quick break. But when we come back, you've got some tips for people that might be travelling. And I know that Turkey is a passion of yours. So we want to talk about Turkey. The current Mrs. Bennett and I did travel to Turkey. We had a lovely holiday there, a place called Uludeniz. Which was that was great, interesting time. And I think if you pay $10 for a meal here, you would pay $1 for the equivalent over there. It was fairly cheap.
Yes, exactly.
So Marguerite will be talking to us, and if you've got any questions, of course, you can post them via the Facebook page today. According to Scouting for Girls, this ain't a love song. Well, if it's not a love song, I've no idea what it is. Logan City's 101. Marguerite McMahon is here. She's an expert traveller. Where she hasn't been doesn't exist. Maybe that's a slight exaggeration, but that's the joy of doing radio. And Marguerite, I know that one of the places you love with a passion is Turkey. What's so special about Turkey?
I just feel it's the Turkish people are very, very friendly. I love it. Oh, by the way, Mike, tulips. Do you know where tulips were originally grown?
Well, my first impulse would be Amsterdam.
Well, I'm got to say no, you're not correct.
Thank you for bursting my bubble this morning.
They were first grown in Turkey, of all places.
Wow.
And they're just beautiful.
I had no idea.
No, and I never knew that either until I started travelling. So, yes, travelling does broaden the mind. So why do I like Turkey? There's hundreds of legends involving, prophecies, tales of love. You're just talking about love. There's the three empires. They claim Turkey, Istanbul as their capital, and we're not smitten by the city's commanding view. If you're not smitten, there's something wrong with you. You've got the Roman, the Byzantine, the Ottoman empires. They all fought to claim the city with the real estate. It's just a magic place to go. And I first travelled there in '78 on my Kathmandu to London, and I found a coffee shop. And it's now it's just slipped my mind. It's a pie shop, and this is where the hippies would go with their camper vans, and they'd sell their camper vans for those who are heading on back to Europe. So the Aussies would dump their vans in Istanbul and then fly home back to Australia.
Is Turkey a destination that Australians would think about if they're thinking about having a holiday?
It is now. I think because Gallipoli has been so much up there in the limelight over the last few years, but just not Gallipoli. You can organise private tours. And I went on one last year, and I was on a goulette.
I have no idea what that is.
It's like an old wooden trading boat, and you can get luxury, you can get the basic. I sort of had a basic little wooden goulette, and we bopped around the Gokova Gulf, and we sailed out of a place called Bodrum and came back into Bodrum 7 nights later.
Goodness me.
Everything included. It was magic. Even we had Wi-Fi.
Wow, now that is impressive. Some people listening to the show, maybe people that have got families that have left home or whatever, that they might be on their own now. How difficult is it? What are the risks for people travelling by themselves overseas?
Well, that's an interesting point, interesting question too. Mike, I feel that travelling alone in these countries, it is now a little bit of a scary situation.
Sure.
So I still would go on an organised tour with a group of people. A travel agent can organise, independent tours. You don't have to be in a coach of 30, 35 people.
I think that's what puts people off. When you talk about tours, you think, and there used to be a programme, I don't know if it ever made it to Australia, there was a programme in the UK called Coach Trip, and it was where 25 or 30 people were on a bus. Nobody liked anybody else, and it was really uncomfortable. But obviously what you're saying is that the proper travel agent could get the right kind of tour to suit the right kind of people.
Exact. My brother and his family, there were 6 adults just recently travelled in Turkey, and they had a Mercedes-Benz bus, black windows.
Sure.
And they had their driver and their guide. Everything was booked for them, and they had 12 days travelling around Turkey. So having the guide there, he became like their family.
Of course, yeah, and that's important as well. You need a good guide.
Yes.
It was our youngest, Adam. It was his 21st. So we went to Vegas and we went to LA, and we had one of those car tours around the houses in LA.
Okay.
You see all the film stars' houses, and our tour guide made the trip. He was hilarious. Probably broke far too many rules of the road, but it was great. I think that's important. You need to get somebody who's informative, educational, but a bit of fun as well.
Yes, and the guide also in Turkey, he knew about Australia. He knew the songs, and he got them singing We Still Call Australia Home.
Oh, wow. You've absolutely cracked it. Just very quickly, back in the day, I guess most Australians would think, if we're going abroad, we'll go to Bali. I think we've moved on from that now. What are the sort of top destinations that you would suggest people should try?
Well, I love animals, so Borneo, and go up and see the orangutans.
Wow.
Up to Kota Kinabalu and go out from there. You can base yourself, if the husband is a golfer, they can go stay in a 5-star resort.
See, that's
do the golfing. They can fly up to Sandakan, and I don't know if you know about Sandakan.
No.
So Sandakan is where we lost Australian soldiers in the Second World War. I think maybe 1400, and it's not known. We commemorate Gallipoli and the Anzacs. And,
sure.
We forget about Sandakan. And there was a couple of soldiers there that did survive. I think they're from Lismore area. Okay. Somebody might be able to correct me. One of the listeners out
sure,
there.
I'm positive that we'll get some messages about that. Marguerite, I could talk about your travels, your adventures for ages, but I do have to play some music. Maybe we'll get you back and you can give us...
I would love to come back.
Give us
I've
some
got
tips. I'm sure you have.
For travelling solo girls.
Well, okay, very quickly.
Well, I can come back and do that, but if planning a trip with family or friends or whatever, it has got a challenge. And for the woman travelling alone, you need to prepare for an extraordinary experience that it does open you up for new opportunities, but there's also daunting possibilities. So we can pick that up another time.
We certainly shall. Marguerite, it's been an absolute pleasure. I look forward to chatting to you again, and in particular, seeing the pictures of that double-decker bus with the tyres let down.
Oh, my gosh.
That sounds great to me.
Thank you.
So there we are, some good travel tips this morning. We've still got a couple of tickets to give away. I'll find out from the lady on reception who used to be my favourite until she made me coffee instead of tea.